So right now, I'm at the scene of one of the deadliest disasters in American history. I'll show you in a second, but I'm just kind of taking in the view. So where I am right now is I'm at the site of the Conemaugh South Fork Dam in Cambria County, Pennsylvania, where in May of 1889, during a rainstorm, a dam just right where my finger is there burst and flood the entire valley down there over that way. There's the sun, and it went miles down the valley into Johnstown and killed about 3,000 people. Man, look at that. That's just really pretty. So the dam was just shy of 1,000 feet long. I think it was about like 931 feet, something like that. And after being built in the early 1800s, it was kind of left in neglect for a really long time, for about 22 years. And it was eroding and things were added, and in the spillway they put these big iron pikes and sticks that would block it up eventually on the day of the flood. But not only that, to make passage easier for carriages for those staying here, the rich guys staying here, they chopped the top 2 feet off of the dam, and that would make it quicker for the carriage to go just straight across instead of slowly go over the hump of the dam. Now on the day of the flood, now that we're in the shadow, on the day of the flood, when the rain started coming, some of the overseers said all it would take to flood the dam is 2 feet of water. So that 2 feet, of course, is what it rained, and the 2 feet was gone because they decided they wanted to make carriage travel easier. I'm here on the front porch of the administration office of the park now, the national park, which was the overseer's house here at the dam. You can see why they'd want to build a club here. It is a tremendous view. And you're way up high on the mountain, of course. And back then, they didn't really believe in germs. So the big cure, if you had the money, is you could go out to the mountains and you'd have good air. It was all about air. And this provided plenty of good air. Bask in the sunlight here. I mean, really, it was a great view. Good air, baby. I'm living in the good air of the Allegheny Mountains. I mean, really incredible. The porch looks awesome. They don't make them like they used to, huh? Like all the little details on the thing. I don't even know what that's called. The details on the thing. You know what I'm talking about. And we're at a really good vantage point. Okay, you can see a glare on the camera there. That is the dam. It's part of the dam. And just below that, there's a huge gap on the other side of the dam. I'm gonna try to get over there. Wipe out the snow here. It's falling down. Really great looking house. A really great view, except in 1889 as it was pouring rain and you could see the dam about to give way. Back to the flood. So it's raining like crazy. No one really thinks much of it until the morning of the day of the flood, when they see the spillway is just like gushing with water. As I mentioned earlier, Colonel Elias J. Unger, who was living in the overseer's house behind me on the time, is trying to prevent this. He's like going all over the lake looking, see how bad the flooding is. At one point they lose the boat that they're traveling in. A little later in the day, around 3 p.m., the dam breaks. And all the water contained, of course, there's one way to go, and it's out, down into the valley there. Now the valley kind of snakes its way down a few miles to Johnstown, the city of Johnstown. It's a big city. You know, it's no New York, it's no Pittsburgh, but there's a lot of people living there, and a lot of them are going to die as a result of the flood. Forgive my being out of breath. I'm walking up a mountain. The flood is extremely powerful. They talk about it moves and lifts up massive train cars. It's got thousands and thousands of tons of water just rushing through the valley down into Johnstown. I said it's moving train cars, flipping them completely. I'm just like uprooting them like if it's a tree, but it's not. Ice in my shoe. Of course, Johnstown natives are used to flooding. The city sits in a bowl of mountains at the confluence of two, well, the Conemaugh River and Stony Creek. So on occasion, in spring, it's known to flood, but nothing as bad as it did in 1889. The people down in the city, it's kind of like a merry thing. It's like, oh, it's flooding again, don't worry. But once all the mud and muck gets into their houses, they start worrying. They start moving to higher ground in their house. And still, even then, it's nothing they're extremely worried about. And there's one account of this guy sitting in his attic to kill the time. He's leaning out of his window and shooting rats that are flooding down the streets in the water. So he's not too worried about it. So here we're coming up on the dam. Like I said, I've never been on this side, so I've never taken this trail. But you can see there that kind of unnatural rise on the north side of the dam and stretches all the way across that gap. Okay, so what we're looking at right now, or walking over really, is the spillway to the dam. So all the water would have been here, of course. It all funnels in through here just for excess water so the dam doesn't break. But the spillway was not wide enough to handle what the flow of water was on that day the flood happened. And not only that, as I'd mentioned earlier, they put metal spikes and like mesh netting in, so none of the game and the fish from the lake could escape this way out through the stream here. So this could have saved thousands of lives, but through ignorance it didn't. Alright, so right now we're at the breast of the top of the dam here, looking straight down across. You see the other side of the dam over there. That fence is. There's a road stretching from here to here. It was called Carnegie Road. Actually, there's a diagram right here of the dam. Yes, here the dam broke in 1889. It's a pretty sun setting over the mountains, the Laurel Highlands, and the Alleghenies. I wanted to get over there because you can go down and in and down to where the edge of the stream is. I'm trying to see if I can see it. Right down there is the remnants of like the base of the dam, like the stone calvert and whatnot. And right near it think that's it right there is what I'm focusing on, is like wood that was part of the dam, the pipes of the dam. It's really cool to visit. So 2,200 people die in Johnstown as a result of the flooding, surrounding towns like Mineral Point, whatnot. And if you ever get the chance to read the book The Johnstown Flood by David McCullough, who's actually a Pittsburgh historian, I'd really recommend it. Even more so if you ever get the chance, or passing through Cambria County somehow. No one really comes here for the sights, but if you're ever passing through, there's a good chance you'll take the highway there that passes this, and it's easy to miss. You know, you're not really thinking too much about it when you're driving on the highway, but if you ever get the chance to come and visit, I really recommend it. Especially see the visitor center up there. Even though it's closed, I'd never been there. It's still really cool to see and to have that really cool vantage point, especially right now as there's no one here. Really beautiful out. It's freezing cold. My cheeks are getting like all pink and red. Yeah, it's really odd to think that all what's in front of me here, all this was just water for like it stretched really like a mile or so way back that way that I was just showing you. It's a lot of water. It's thousands of tons of water just rushing down the valley. It's crazy to think about. I'd encourage you to do some research on your own, but I think I'm going to take a few minutes to just think and collect my thoughts. It's a beautiful day. I'm just going to hang out for a couple minutes and watch the sunset.